Peace, love, love. Y'all come on into the space and have a seat. Get ready for the Tuesday tea. I just had a whole moment, so I just had to light my palo santo because I just needed to. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I definitely believe in perfection. It's an alchemy process, right? I know people say things like, I'm not perfect. Nothing's perfect, all of this stuff. But I always say, if there's no such thing as perfect, why is there a word for it? Because we all about vibrations and affirmations, right? And if we are all living in this life, or those of us that choose to consciously, in order to elevate ourselves, to evolve ourselves, to grow, whatever you define perfection is definitely something you should strive for. So that is something. Is that joy? Peace, love. Oh, my joy is all over the world. Peace, y'all come into the space. I'm talking about my perfectionist self. And I have to be gentle with my perfectionist self because that's my art form. I love to do things in the perfection in which I define it. And so I don't subscribe to, the whole ideal around perfection not being a thing, because I definitely vibe to that vibration. I want to ascend and transcend to that vibration of what I came here to do. And I'm not fooling around. So sometimes I can be so hard on myself. And I'm real life fussing about carrying peace. Oh, I love you. Everybody's here. So I'm definitely a perfectionist, and I don't carry that in a negative vibration. I carry that in a very positive vibration. But it's also a balance of recognizing when I'm being too critical on myself, or I'm not giving myself enough time and space in order to actually create the masterpiece or the perfection in which I'm trying to do. So I've been rushing. I've been all over the place. Not really rushing. I'm going to say I've been very busy in movement over the weekend. So getting here, I'm prepared to be in this space, and I can't find my things, right? Peace, y'all. Peace, Shannon. Peace. So I was like, just what the hell? Like, I can't find my stuff. I'm trying to unpack, and I thought I packed it, and now I can't find it, and I probably left it. So I just had to light my palo santo to kind of smooth my energy over, to calm myself back down, to tell myself to just, I use what I got, and just sometimes the work of art comes out in the mess, and that's okay. And in that, I can still create perfection in that. So I just want to just give you all that piece. Yes to the palo santo. It is my go-to. I love it. I love the way it smells. I love the way it feels. It really creates a very harmonious, just smooth, laid-back vibe. So give thanks for this tree. Give thanks for this branch. And the life that it gives in its many forms. So y'all, come on, hold the space, get in the space, grab your tea. I hope y'all ready. We have a beautiful guest, a brother coming on today. We have, before I get into that, I want to I talked about the palo santo, talk about the tea for today. So y'all let me know what y'all sipping on. What tea did y'all bring to the space today? Yes. Moving with intention. Thank you. Yes, perfection, intention, all of that. I'm here for it. So the tea I have for today is gotu kola. Gotu kola is one of my go-to herbs. It is good for circulation. It's good for memory. It's good for detox. I'm about to start juicing this week, so I wanted to put something in my body to kind of, get some things cleansed out. I did pretty good over the holiday weekend. I had vegan meals all weekend, so I didn't, do too bad, but I really need something for this brain of mine and all of its perfection and intention. I want to be able to create that, to create more. So the gotu kola is good for brain functioning. Okay. Oh, and I also have Go To Cola is also in my meditation blend, in my orange spice blend. Let me slow down. I get excited, especially seeing y'all in the space. So it's in my orange spice blend, and you all can find that on my website. Right now it's pre-order. I will fully release it again for the fall on the autumn equinox. So again, it's the orange spice meditation blend. Go ahead and get that so you can sip your tea with me for this season. Okay, so we have our guest. Let me see. I don't see him on here yet. So I'm going to talk about him a little bit. We have our guest, T. Walker, that's coming on today. The brother, this is the other great half, the other portion of the millions of energy that he brings into the space. He is a MC. I call him an MC. I want to know a little bit more about what he brings with the vibration of this title that he says he is. But music, poetry, entrepreneurship, he's an art curator, all of these amazing things, community leader and beyond. So we're going to bring this masculine being energy in here and talk more about his brand, about his music, about his meditation practice and manifestation. And yeah, so we're going to get into that tea today. As soon as I see him on this space, so good. Let me know what y'all sipping on. Share this live. If you are just now popping in, we hold the space for the Tuesday tea every Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's all about wellness. It's all about love. It's all about health. It's all about wealth. It's all about blackness. It's all about us. So I bring on different guests for us to be in this space so that we can vibe high, so we can learn from each other. We talk about different practices, personal practices in our daily life, and how it helps us to stay whole, stay healthy, and evolve in our personal growths and purposes. So I'm waiting for brother to come on, but y'all go ahead and share. And what y'all feeling like today? What y'all want to vibe on? For those of you all that know T. Walker, if you have any questions, you can start chiming in there in the comment section, and we can see if we can get him on here to talk about those things. Peace, love. Oh my goodness, I adore you too, Shannon. Oh my God, your hair oil. I knew it was it. I knew it was gonna save my life. Like I knew it. I love it. I had it on, and I had it on the heat, and it was just like soaking up my hair and my body, and I just kept rubbing it all over the place. I love it. So I'm already like, I know I'm gonna need a bigger bottle. Because I'm gonna just be so greedy with it. Love. Okay, I might have to, somebody go get T. Walker. Somebody go get T. Walker for me. Y'all get in his inbox, ask him where he be at. You know, if we have to hold this and, do our thing, we're going to do that. But, I have on his shirt. If the sun don't shine, I will. And he has a little call and response for this that he does. And we'll get into all of that as well. But, yeah, how was your holiday? Or, whatever you want to call it. Your break away, if you got a chance to do that. I had a beautiful experience with my sister friends and family, and celebrating my sister friend, Chef April's birthday, her 50th birthday. It was so beautiful. She hired another vegan chef, and it was amazing. It was amazing. We had such a blast. It's so good to be around just people just living in our wholeness and our wellness and our authentic self, and we just had so much fun. So, and then I shot down to Atlanta and went to visit my family, my aunt and my grandfather and grandmother, and spend a little bit of time with them. It was good. Restful joy. How are you, love? I miss your face. I might have to get you on here too, huh? I'm gonna have to get you on here. Yeah, Restful is good. I actually took some time to come back home in between time and kind of rest up. I miss Ashburn when I'm away now. It's so weird because I used to be gone so much, and now this year has really allowed me to just be here. So it feels good to be able to come back to a place where I feel like I can rest, I can play, I can, vibe with other people. It's just so, I'm in a good space here. And so when I'm away, I always want to come back as quickly as I left. So appreciate it. Yes. Oh, awesome. Yes, we definitely have to catch up. Vibe. Okay. I don't know where the brother is at. I might have to. Okay, you sent a message to him. Thank you, Shannon. Should have got his number so I could, bruh, where you be at? I know brother is busy. Brother's doing many things. And he's a expectant father. So, I don't think she's due for a while. So, but I know he's taking care of many things in community and his business. So, it's good. So how's everyone else? Let me see. What else can we get on? I just, yeah. I got my juicer today. So excited about that. I have been using my actual, my food processor / blender to do my juices for years, and I just strain it. But I'm so over that 5-step process. I decided to go ahead and actually get a juicer. So I am so excited about it because that is going to be the nutritional value that I need in my daily life. So I'm on this whole kick, y'all. So if you all haven't followed in the last week, me and Joy Rosa in Portland are doing a 21-day self-care check-in, intentional check-in, where we are checking in with each other, checking in with you all. And it's just really about just making sure that we are just taking care of ourselves daily, whatever that's about. So it's been so amazing because I've been really, as I talk out with her, it helps me to be able to really be accountable to myself and checking into my feelings. Because sometimes we are speeding through our day and not really checking into how our body feels, what our energy level is, where our emotions are, how we can process some of the things that we're experiencing throughout the day. And so it allows me the time to kind of just, check in with her. She checks in with me, and we just process, or not really even process, just check in and, let each other know what we're doing for the day. And so I've been really intentional about making sure I'm taking my vitamins every day. That's really a new thing for me. I have not been consistent with that over my life, and I'm realizing that as a long-term, it'll probably be, I'm at 10 years of vegetarian, plant-based living, that my lifestyle fluctuates in the way of what I am doing. So therefore my energy fluctuates. The way that I eat fluctuates. Not necessarily what I am eating, but how I'm eating. I talked in the self-care, I think I talked about this in one of the videos. I'm doing so many. That I have always been a binge eater. I've always been one to eat my emotions, and that was part of the emotional healing and the physical healing that I had to go through before, in the beginning of my journey, and which is why I am such an advocate for nutritional health, and why I have my booklets, the meal plan, because it was something that I really needed in my life. When at the time when I first created these, I think I was in undergrad or going to grad school, and just all day long in school, all day long working, coming home, taking care of my child, and not really paying attention to what I was putting in my body. So, I would carry my seeds and little nuts and fruits and stuff throughout the day, but it would be coffee, nuts and seeds, and then one meal. And sometimes the meal wasn't even balanced. So I am now more intentional about making sure that I have all of my things in my, have my grains, my proteins, all plant-based. I have my vegetables, I have my fruits. so that I can sustain my health, my energy levels, all of those things. So taking the vitamins and the juicing is full of nutrients, so I'm excited about it. So I'm going to start that tomorrow. Just going to get it out and just like feel all over it. So that is just where I'm at right now in my self-care of really being intentional about making sure that I'm planning out my meals throughout the week, that I have my breakfast and my lunch and my snack and my dinner. Even if, you're a person that does the I think it's intermittent fasting, where you do like 12 on, 12 off or whatever, and then have like one meal for the day. You still want to make sure that you're getting all your vitamins, all your nutrients, all those things to take care of yourself, because a lot of times, we don't realize that the things that we are even not putting in our body help to regulate our emotions, our thought process, our energy levels, all of those things. So sometimes when you're not, especially for vegetarian vegans, when you're not getting your protein, your energy level, your concentration really, really can go down, down, down. Not to mention, how it's affecting your organs. Your organs need those things. Your brain needs healthy fats, things like that. So we want to make sure that we are getting all of those nutrients and vitamins throughout our day in every meal. So right now I'm doing that, and I'm also having my son do some research for himself. I've been really, really, really on him about his own self-care. I think that's something that we should learn, in our health classes, when we were younger. For those of you that don't know, I've been homeschooling my son most of his education. He's now 16. And so for the last couple of years, since his high school years, we have really implemented the health and wellness. And so this season, I have him creating his meal plan. I have him looking up how much protein he needs as a plant-based vegetarian. Cutting down the sweets. He's a boy, so he loves the sugars, very addictive. So we are trying to figure out some different alternatives for that. We definitely try the dry fruits. Dry fruits are really good alternatives for those people that really like sweet things, candy. And so I have him doing those things, making sure he's resting, getting off the electronics at a certain time, checking in with his body, when he has a lot of things to do, and see what his capacity is. We talked about that in one of the videos with the sister, talking about filling into our capacity, recognizing that our health is also what is going to sustain us in the longevity of this fight and this rebuilding, wherever you are in this whole visioning and action phase of this new world process. And we want to do better, right? We want to do better than generations before us. Now that we have more information, now that we are creating more access for ourselves, because we know that it has not been created for us, we want to make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do in order for us to stay healthy, long lives. And so that's something that I have taught him early. He has pretty much always been a vegetarian. He has had periods in his life where he, ate a little bit of this, ate a little bit of that, but for the most part, he's what made me decide to go vegan. He really never cared for meat or any of those things. So the wellness based, also making sure that we are checking in with each other throughout the week. So we have busy lives. As a teenager, he's starting to develop his own personal space. So we spend a day out of the week or 2 out of the week, just spending quality time, maintaining a balance. We talk about a lot of things. I'm gonna bring him on here as well. But you all, he has a podcast. I'm talking about my son. He has his own podcast, The Secret Hype Man, Secret Files. You can follow him on Instagram as well. Brilliant young being. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son. He is very brilliant. I can't take credit for all of it. He has a lot of different type of ambition than I do. The generation is different. They don't feel the urgency that we do with having to go after things a certain way. It's very calculated. It's very authentic, and that's good. You know, he has a space to be able to do that, and it's just a beautiful process watching him do that, watching him figure out who he is in this world and what he came to do. So I encourage you all to follow him as well. All right, I don't know where brother is. We're supposed to have brother on here. I don't see him. So I don't know. We might have to come back on later on if I catch him later on, because I did not plan to talk the whole time. Don't really want to. But yeah, so if you all have anything y'all want to talk about, throw some topics out there, and maybe I can keep the vibe going until we find him, or just we'll catch him another time. But yeah, I am really trying to create this space so that we can have a catalog of us that are, you know, have different practices in wellness, different practices in, you know, in leadership, in community and entrepreneurship, so that we can learn from each other in order to rebuild, in order to build, to be honest, because we're doing something new. We're doing something unprecedented, never done before, and we're at a new time, new age, and I think it will be beneficial for us to, you know, continue to have these conversations, continue to talk to each other, one another, so that we can figure out our roles. That's another thing. I'm enjoying the relationship building process of this Tuesday tea, because although a lot of people, and not everyone that I have brought on, I have been in relationship or in community with in, you know, some form or fashion for a period of time. Some of my guests have, you know, we've only built relationship, you know, just recently. And so I'm getting to know them and their roles so that I can also refer people to them, you know, people in their community. You know, it helps us to build our networks. This is our web. Because if everything and when everything does collapse, we want to know who we can call on for certain things. We want to know who our networks are, who our connections are, who our people are, who our doctors are, who are, you know, our lawyers are, who our healers are, you know, who our soldiers are, who all of those pieces, who our thinkers are, our creators, our artists, our musicians. It's very important for us to like know our roles and know our people to call upon. So that's been a really a major like underlying reason for why I have decided to do these Tuesday teas. It's not just getting on here just to be talking. I mean, that's part of it, is to feel the whole vibe, you know, so that we can really build a relationship in healthy ways, in healthy dynamics. It's what's going to, again, give us the longevity that we need, right? So, peace everyone, just joining. I'm not sure where my guest is, so we might have to come back another time for it. But you all can rewind this. I will go ahead and keep this on here. So I am going to jump off, and maybe we'll jump back on later. But before that, I am going to ask that you follow and support all of the guests that I brought on. So you can go ahead and go to the link in the bio, and you can subscribe to the YouTube. I have the last 9 or 10 episodes on my YouTube, so you can check out those networks, find those people. And you can subscribe to my newsletter, which is also the link in the bio, or you can go to Comedic Arts 24. And in my newsletter, I keep you up to date on my guests. I put wellness recipes on there, plant-based recipes. I put different events that I have virtually or wherever I am, and connect and rituals and guidance with the new and the full moons. So go ahead and subscribe to that newsletter. Peace and love. Thank y'all for coming on and holding the space with me while I try to figure out where Brother Man is. But we might come back on later. So peace, love, live truth. All right, y'all. Peace. All right. Bounty Walker. I'm gonna let him explain why he missed the time. Blessed is love, love. Much love, love. We know things happen. And I know it's another reason why I had my palo santo, so I could stay calm. As I was talking about perfectionism, right? All right. So, all right. So we are waiting. There you go. There you go. Peace, brother. You ready? I did a whole intro for you on the other video, so you just gonna have to come on. I told him I'll let you explain what happened. It's all love. Peace. We back. We got him, Shannon. All right. Gonna bring you on now. Love. Y'all share her space.
What's happening?
Peace.
Man, I apologize. I'm over here watching birthing videos with the queen. I got my alarm set for 4:45 in the morning.
Yo.
I'm like, oh man.
Yo, that's love right there. That's love.
I apologize though. You know what I mean? I was tight. As soon as I saw the message, I'm like, dang. And I just know how it is when I'm waiting on people, at the same time. So
look, I was about to cancel all men being on here because I was like, okay, that's strike two. Because Fahim stood me up a couple weeks ago. So
man.
I was
Nah. Let me bring us back real quick.
For real. So I appreciate you being on here. Yes, I talked about how you are doing all the things, music, entrepreneurship, about to be a father. So so that's love, making space for all the things in community and family and for yourself. So let's talk about, get into it. What you doing? What's going on other than the birthing videos? When is the baby? When is she due?
January 26th. Sakina is coming to this world. Could be earlier, but January 26th is the set date, and I'm looking forward to it.
I know you are. That is love. What's the name? You said Sakina?
Yeah, Sakina. It means tranquility, peace, and serenity. So I was reading a book. I was on the way to Portland, and I was reading a book called Quran Conversations, and we had been just discussing names. This was before even the pregnancy. We had just been discussing names, on a manifestation tip. And we had a boy's name, and while I was in the middle of reading the book, the name Sakina appeared, and I was like, that's it right there. That's the name right there. And it had the definition right beside it. And I was like, that's it right there. And it fit perfectly, and I feel like we all need some additional tranquility and peace in our lives. And I feel like that's what she's going to be bringing. So that's it right there.
That's beautiful. And that's good to affirm it. When we have those vibration of names, and this is my lesson being Joy, giving that name, is that when our parents intentionally name us that, to bring that, we can live that and don't have to bring the balance of it. So we have dealt with people in the community, and some of these youth that I might be talking about, to where they have been named something, and for some reason the balance, they have to actually live the lesson of that name in order for them to bring it into the world. So it can happen either way. But if you all keep putting that vibration that she will be that she will bring that for herself and to others, and that's what it will be.
Yeah, I mean, Tupac said he got joked on for his name, but once he really realized the power within the name, that's what he would let people know what it meant. And, and even that confidence of being able to say what your name means, being able to exert that type of energy. I mean, it can shift the vibration in the entire room. Like that, we can't even joke on this man no more. Like, he know what he mean. I don't even know what my name means. And I got a crazy nickname that I don't know what it means at the same time.
Right.
So that's power, before the full existence.
Yeah, that's part of the manifestation work of speaking those vibrations, especially our names or whatever we're calling ourselves. So whether we are placing them in as titles or any of that, make sure we are, like you said, walking in the fullness of it and confidence in it, you know,
Yeah.
and so that when other people speak it, they are speaking it with respect, with honor, with reverence, you know, all of those
Absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. More power to you.
No doubt.
Like
I
the
appreciate you.
queen. Beautiful.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Yeah.
What else you got going on?
I'm in the middle of recording new music. It's so many different things, you know. I mean, I'm recording new music right now, which whenever I get a super surge of creative energy, it just all I'll harness it and put it into different spaces, but it goes really full force. So I just been recording a lot of music, doing some writing, formulating like different visuals and things that go, you know, with the marketing plan. Um, really getting into a space of delegation is really, you know, another space that I'm trying to push myself into because I overwhelm myself with doing so many things. And I realize part of it is trust because, you know, I've put things in people's hands before and they dropped the ball and I didn't like that and nor did I like my reaction to it. Right. So to save myself, I had to, you know, just start doing things myself, which has been good because now I totally realize when I delegate these things, what I need for people to do, you know, but I also realize that any of the things that I love or that I'm really passionate about, nobody's going to care for them to the same degree that I do, you know, and this was something I discussed with my father, but it was also something that, that was discussed at a meeting at Mr. Dudley's house. Mm-hmm. You know, he would have his mastermind meetings, and in discussing that, they were like, you just need somebody that can at least go 80% because nobody is going to give what you're passionate about, going to give it the same 100% that you would give it. Right. So I'm trying to get my mind wrapped around that, even with the delegation. But I understand that's why the people like Diddy or Jay are the way that they are, you know, because even when you get the delegating task, you know, like it's cool that you have these other people that are doing things so that you can really go 100% in your space. But now, you know, you got to be able to come in there and be like, no, this is what I need. Mm-hmm. Or mm-hmm. we need to have this meeting right now because you fired. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever the case may be, you might go through 20 people before you get that one person, mm-hmm. you know, so I'm just wrapping my mind, you know, around that as well, you know, and preparing for that because I mean it's so many different things from doing community work to recording music to now, you know, with this new venture, this new movement and lifestyle with the alkaline water, mm-hmm. to designing clothing, to studying and becoming a parent, you know, at the same time. Like those are things I want to devote my time to, like watching, you know, these birthing videos, right. and understanding the same information that she's going to know, you know, at the same time, being prepared so that, you know, these doctors can't just try to do any crazy thing, especially in my presence. You know, I ain't having none of that. So, I mean, that's really what I'm pinpointing on right now is, you know, staying creative and preparing myself for fatherhood, you know, the best that I can, which is a journey in itself. Mm-hmm. And I'm enjoying it, you know.
Sounds like you are like just intentionally building that village, you know, that's going to be able to support you. And that's what I was kind of talking about in the intro to this was, you know, it's all about the reason why I do these Tuesday Teas is about relationship building. Yes, I'm talking about wellness, but I'm also identifying the network. So I'm identifying the roles in the community so that we can know, you know, who the person is going to, you know, do our marketing, who's the person that's, you know, the doula, who's the person that's doing all these different things, so that we can start building relationship and we can know. So when we delegate, we know that they're already in their power. We know that they're in their role. And so when we give up, you know, that part of us that, you know, so to delegate to, we can trust because we've built a relationship. We've seen them in their work, you know, and we know that they are doing their role. Right. And that's also, you know, filling into our capacity and, you know, and once we get to a certain place in our own purpose and our own passions, we know what we have the capacity for and what we no longer have the capacity for and what we can kind of, you know, give away to somebody else. So that's a powerful place to be when we start to identify those key people in our village, so that we can start to build these networks, because that's the community building piece, right? That's how we continue to grow and to sustain as a community, is that we all know our roles and not feel like we have to do it all ourselves, because
Right.
that's not sustainable.
Not at all. I mean, it's gonna be draining, you know, to your energy. You ain't gonna be able to do anything. But then sometimes, you know, I recognize that like I'm only at 30% on so many of these things, or even if I get to 70%, if I could just go ahead and fulfill this at 100%, you know, then. And I got a reading from Maya, you know, for my birthday.
Yes.
One of her things was complete projects. You know, and I was like, dag, like I do complete projects, but sometimes I'll have like 10 to 12 other ones going on at a time. And I'm like, all right, let me make sure I really lock in and get this thing done. And that'll even free up some space for me to wholeheartedly dive into some things. I'm also, I just started listening to this audio book called Eat That Frog. And, you know, it's about tackling your largest task first.
Okay.
You know, go ahead and getting certain things out of the way. It also mentioned delegating, which that was a confirming thing for me, you know, when I heard it back in the book, you know, because I was thinking about it myself. The Queen mentioned it to me, and then I heard it again in the book, and I was like, these things don't just happen. I don't really believe in coincidences.
Right.
Like, you know, happen for a reason and with purpose, you know. And even in the power of manifestation, I always speak that I want things that need to come to me to be shown to me. Like I speak that daily, you know, and I'm often reminded by that when I see these things, even if it's repeating numbers and trying to, I'm reminded like, all right, that's what these repeating numbers mean. Like I need to remind myself that I am where I need to be.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward, you know.
So
So I
what
don't
is
know
the
these.
medicine? So what shows up for you to where you know like that's a message? Is it words? Is it numbers? Is it animals? Like what shows up for you?
It's all of it, really. You know, like it's definitely numbers. I've been seeing the ones like crazy. Like I'm always seeing the ones, 11, 11, whatever the case may be. That the twos, and I'm often seeing sevens. You know, so and I don't even remember what the sevens mean. I remember, you know, like I just recently started seeing that pop back up, but that and then it'll be conversations that's had around me. You know, like I've been in some of my new music talking even more deeply about manifestation, you know, but then, you know, Big Sean drops his album and he's talking a lot about manifestation. I focus on heavily. So I'm like, all right, you know, let me focus even deeper into it, you know, but also like think about the negative things that you can manifest just by like having negative thought, because, you know, even with overwhelming myself, sometimes I get a little frustrated, you know, and I'll start to see the effects of my frustration, you know, happen around, you know, as well. So I'm like, all right, this manifestation, I already know that it works both ways, but sometimes I have to just get smacked in my face, you know, and now I'm in a space where I'm like, oh, I don't want to get smacked in my face by this anymore. Let me truly practice this the way that I know how. And even in telling that to other people, my whole goal is just to be that complete example. Because I don't like talking people to death about how to do something when I
Right.
can
You got to show
show
this.
them. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so that's key to me.
So what do you do to catch yourself?
I get back to working out. You know, like sometimes if I fall off of my workout routine, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to nature. I really love nature. I love hiking and going on trails. So I'll do something like that just to center me,
Yeah.
you know, because even in that space of centering, I'm always observing. So like even as I'm observing, I might watch how the ants are doing things and watch how they work as a team. And I already know that they're a super species and how they operate. So I get back to thinking about that, and that puts me back in my mind state of delegation. You know, I watch, you know, everything that's going on around and recognize like how deeply connected we are to nature. Like, even though I know it, I have to do things to reaffirm it and confirm it for myself. And that's one of those things, you know, and I'm not working out in the gym right now. I work out in nature. So that's one of those things. And that also helps me to focus on my breathing, you know, because even when I meditate, some people try to focus on their thoughts. I don't focus on my thoughts. Like you can't necessarily, you know, with music playing, all types of things are gonna come in. I focus on my breathing and then allow my thoughts to just flow.
Yes.
You know, and then, you know, might throw in some affirmations, but my breathing is what's most important to me. So I usually just, you know, tackle nature Whenever I need to recenter myself, I go outside. I get me some sun. If the sun don't shine, I will. You know, and
Hey.
no doubt.
Yes, yes.
What you do? What do you do to center yourself?
You speaking all my language. That is my practice. Meiotic flow is all about just moving and in pace with your breath and moving in connection with nature. So all of that is like what we call mindfulness practice. So it's really being observant, all those things you were talking about of paying attention to nature and really being in tune with how it correlates with our own movement, in life and our daily practice. So that's my deal. I'm out here in the mountains now, so it's something to just be out and just see the mountains all around me and just connect with that majesty all the time. Even if I don't even intentionally get out to be on the trails, I'm still in it and I'm still paying attention and I'm still, in reverence that, where I am. So yeah, that's my practice in the breath. Yes, that centers me all the time. Just being mindful of that. Yes, that's that power.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing better than nature. Like even at the beginning of this entire pandemic, when I would just go on walks or just be out, I'm just looking at how freely all of these animals are moving, and doing their own thing. And I'm like, they not affected by this. Matter of fact, if they are affected, the thing that's happening to them is while everybody is sheltering themselves and getting out of their way, they have their space back. It's almost like, to me, I was looking at them like that. They're rediscovering their world, all over again. In the same way that a lot of us have, while we've been inside and having to go inside or focus on our relationships or lack of relationships or whatever the case may be. We had to really like rediscover our worlds. But also looked around, I'm like, they don't need us. They don't need us here. Like if we didn't exist, they'd still operate, and they probably operate at a higher level if we wasn't in their way sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was looking at that and recognizing it and just like, yeah, just wanting to get, back in tune, which was key for me because I'm used to touring and being on the road and in and out of schools, so I really didn't get time for rest, let alone taking time to just enjoy nature, so this is the most time I've been able to do so and recenter myself, but also work on things I might have procrastinated on before.
So how did this pandemic shift from you being out in the world to now you having to center your practice, like, where you are? So what does that mean for your music? And what does that mean for, all the other things that you are doing, your teaching?
It's elevated everything, because while I was on the road, I was still, my music was elevating, but sometimes, this world was still affecting me. So still seeing our people, being killed, still like knowing that homies were being jailed, and even if they did something wrong, seeing how it was stretched, beyond measure, trying to pull people along that just didn't want to come, and having to realize that some people push, some people pull, some people set an example, and a lot of that came to me while being centered because I had more time to think, versus trying to barely sleep on an airplane, what I mean? And then, getting back and getting up the energy to put on the greatest show, possible, but it's elevated my music because, again, the recentering has given me time to think about all the things I wanted to incorporate in my music. Like, even though I was talking conscious, or whatever the case may be, some of it to me, as I was listening back to it, like I'm saying some good things, but I can say better things. Like even about the things that I want to see improved, I can say better things. I can address them differently. I can even shape my perspective to help people better see that. And I can talk about better things. I wasn't really discussing the manifestation in the same way I was having conversations with people, so now it's like, all right, I'm able to include all of these things in my music because it's not just the conversation I'm having. I'm fully including it in my life by getting back out here. But also I had to exercise other skills because that's mainly where I was making money, being on the road.
Right.
So I developed websites. So that was something else I had to tackle. But that was another thing that drew me into getting back outside because I got tired of sitting in front of computers. So I'm like, listen, I can't I can't do this. Let me get outside, recenter myself. Health has changed. you know, because I was taking more time to, again, make sure I was physically okay, but I'll make sure I was eating better, you know, instead of just, you know, eating wherever I was in the cities I was at because I love pizza. Let me go over here and get pizza. Like I thought just because I was cutting out pork and red meat, I was doing myself justice. And it's a start, you know, but it's a level of smartness to everything. So just making sure I wasn't overindulging in things, but also making sure I was putting better things into my body. And then, you know, at the same time, I'm cooking a lot more, you know, so now that was in turn like what I was feeding myself, but you know what I'm feeding her at the same time because we got a baby, you know what I'm saying, coming on the way, you know. So a lot of these things, you know, have changed and helped elevate me and take me to another space. I do miss being on the road, you know, because I love the rush of all of that, you know, the shows and all that, but I'm not taking for granted that I've had somewhere to be, you know, during this entire time. I know some people don't have homes. Some people don't have food. Some people not connected with resources. Some people don't have the ability to, if they lose a source of income, create another source of income. So I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful for these things, and I try to practice my gratitude as much as possible, which is something I have to remind myself when I get frustrated about things. What am I grateful for? And I remind myself and go through my whole list and be like, you straight, bro. Just keep moving. You good.
And I see you taking advantage of, you know, of that access that you have, you know, in your arts and everything. And I'm just thinking about how I've seen the shift from seeing you, you know, on the road a lot, but now you're bringing in community into like your videos, you know, and to the other spaces that you're doing with the water and all of that. So it's more of us being able to walk with you in your lifestyle and you taking people with you. And so that is a whole nother level of wellness that I feel like you're bringing to your art form, you know. And I think that's the practice of wholeness that we, you know, should all try to leave the shoulds out. But I mean, realistically, I mean, that's what's going to give us the longevity in any of the things that we do, is to be able to bring in the holistic pieces. So actually be able to, you know, show us, you know, drinking the live water, show us eating well, show us out and connecting with nature, show us in community with people, you know. That's because that's truth, you know. That's actual authenticity, and not just like you said, just talking it.
Right.
Because we could talk it, but you know, knowledge is just one piece of it. You know, the action is actually what brings the manifestation and the evolution of who we are, you know. So that's beautiful. So talk a little bit more about the music and, you know, the visual arts piece.
Yeah, so well, just most recently I released my single Float, and that too, you know, came from the book, the Quran Conversations book I was reading, you know, while I was on the plane. And it was really the chapter that I got to was just discussing Moses and his journey. You know, it discussed it from a perspective that I didn't see in the Bible, you know, but it discussed like him being along on his journey and him even understanding like who he was as a prophet, as a leader. But there was a space where he realized that he needed to double back and get some help, you know, get some information and knowledge that he didn't know. And a lot of times, especially within this conscious, you know, community and space and speakers, I feel like some people are way too big headed and may not even recognize that like you might need to fall back a little bit, you know, and fine tune some things. And, you know, there were certain parts of my ego and pride that I, you know, have been having to put to the side. One is understanding that like I can't do all this by myself. You know what I'm saying? Me and bro can't do all of this by ourselves, you know. And part of it, like I said, was trust. Part of it was just me wanting to take it all on and be like, nah, we did this.
That
You know
part,
what I'm saying? But
yes.
yeah, I mean that, and that's crazy ego to think that you can just do that when the bigger part of it is like, nah, build your team. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, like I want to bring everybody along anyway. So like, yeah, build that team, build that community that can assist you with your music and things of that nature as well, can help, you know what I mean, take this water to the next level, help take your art galleries to the next level. So in that, you know, that's why the song was mainly about floating to your higher self. You know, how can I do that? You know, how can I do that without recognizing that I've always in ways needed help, and it didn't mean that I was less than. It means like, hey, you recognize when you know you can lean on somebody that's going to hold you accountable, or you can hold them accountable. Two of those people being my parents. You know, at a time of my life when I dropped out of college and didn't want to be in my hometown, I moved, you know what I'm saying, to my dad's, you know what I mean, in Delaware, to be in a space where I could be closer to Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., you know, and be closer in things with the music. But in turn, what it really helped me with was we got to discuss some traumas, you know, and things that we dealt with, you know, and that kind of began to, you know, help bring a change within me, a change that was bigger than the music, you know, a change that affects this moment right now. Like, I'm about to have a child. So if I didn't discuss those very same things then, and we didn't get those things out the way and clear certain air, and I didn't recognize certain things within myself and recognize that there were generational curses that needed to be broken, then what would I be doing, you know what I mean, bringing this life into this space? So that was something we helped each other, you know, with that, you know, by just having the conversation. But that was something major he helped me with. My mother helped me all my life by providing for me, by giving me a space, by taking me away from my father, you know what I'm saying, you know, at a young age, you know, by recognizing that, hey, this, the way that you're doing things and dealing, you know, with him can bring about some other crazy things. And I recognize those things. And the fact that I'm speaking on this right now, I've never really spoken about this really openly, you know. So this is, you know, even one of those spaces of being comfortable and, you know, using this space as a space of help, but letting people know, you know what I mean, some other things within me as well. But I wanted to like use the music as a way of even starting the conversation of having conversations with your parents, you know what I mean, about trauma, breaking your ego and pride, you know, and it's all a process. It don't happen just right away. Cause I wrote the song, you know, this summer, but even still now, there's still certain things from that particular song, you know, about help, ego, pride that I still work on, that I still have to remind other people of that's around me. So that's been major, but that began to like build the rest of the infrastructure for the music, you know, that I'm putting together, you know, as I'm collaborating with my father, you know, on different songs. I've got more collaborations on this project than I've ever had, because I'm so used to being like, I only want to work with who's in the studio with me right now. I only want to work with, I don't even want to wait for somebody to email me a verse. I get impatient with stuff like that. You know, my patience gets thin. You know, so that's why, again, I had to apologize. Like, I already know what that's like. You know, so, you know, I had to put that mirror up to myself. Yeah. You know, but it's just so many things that I've been able to discuss, you know, even within the music, the things that's going on now to this very day, you know, in this world, you know, my feelings about it, you know, my feelings about things moving forward, you know. So the music is it's a therapeutic space for me. It's a space for me to get messages across where I can't sit and have conversations in a room with people all the time, you know, but they can listen to the music and find a number of different things within that. But I really use that to open my doors to other things. Like I was on a panel with Pen America during the, you know, the pandemic. And part of that came because of my music, you know, by me being connected with someone else and then them figuring out that I'm a speaker, you know. So I really I want my music to, you know, bring, you know, more finances and connect me to people, but I really just use it as my business card to every time I've been on stage, you know, even since the creation of Soul Society, I'm talking Soul Society on the stage and in between songs so that people can know what's going on. And then they can come holler at me and my brother after that, you know, and let them know like, oh yeah, if y'all need somebody to come to y'all school, that's what we do. Mm-hmm. And then we end up talking to teachers or whoever afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I love, you know, the things that I'm able to incorporate in my music. I love the growth that I'm able to even show myself and other people, you know, through the music. But then I just love using it as a business card at the same time. Like, here, this is who I am. Come holler at me. Come holler at us. Tap in.
Beautiful. All those beautiful pieces. And I don't want to, you know, like rush over that piece. I really appreciate you sharing that with us, because that's one of the intentions in me doing these, and especially bringing in masculine energy, because I want to facilitate a space for us to talk about, have these conversations about, you know, our generational trauma, as well as like the trauma that we have in the feminine and masculine relationships. And so that is a major piece in a Black community specifically, and how we are learning to heal that. And it first starts with us healing it from our parent-child relationships. So healing our parent-child relationships, and also healing our relationships with our inner child. Because we haven't had the time and space to be able to do that. We haven't had the time and space to be able to, you know, tap back into those relationships, and to really, you know, to talk about some things and to heal from some things, because we've been so, you know, accustomed to just keeping that pain stuff down and keeping it going. And that's where the ego-based stuff comes from. And that's where the super ambitious, you know, energy comes from, because we feel like we have to prove something, not only to the, you know, the now dying dominant culture, but also the culture that has oppressed, you know, our parents. And it is, and then it you know, it caused trauma for us in our relationships as well. So I just really want to, I didn't want to glaze over that. I really want to thank you for bringing that out, because that is, you know, the intention as we move forward. You know, all of that has to heal, and intentionally, as you are especially bringing life in and balancing that energy with your queen, it's definitely necessary to be able to do that, so that we can, again, have sustainable relationships. Yeah, so beautiful. And I love that. I think I always shoot my son your music, because I see the similation and the similarities in how he uses his music for therapy. And so I see that, and how you move and how you do that. And also the, you know, the music entertainment piece is major. That's something that I'm wanting him to really push, so that he can see the different ways that he can use his voice and his presence in music and speaking and things like that. So, you know, again, thank you for being a model for him for that.
I appreciate you.
That's so that's pretty amazing for and that's something that I've always intentionally do too, is pick out those masculine energies. You know, me raising him as a single mom, he's had his dad, you know, in his life in some ways, but never present in the home and in our community. So me being intentional about, you know, look at this brother, look what he doing, look at this, you know, that's something, that's the ways that I've been able to balance that masculine in him, you know. And that's part of, again, like identifying the village, you know, our people.
I mean, that's the major key of even having a village, you know, because I mean, and there's so many things that I've learned, you know, by thinking I'm about to go in and teach other people, right? You know, so even with like with Kay Marley, you know what I'm saying, going to her school, you know, and working with some of her young students. And to, you know, just by being a presence, just by taking the time to work on some homework with one of, or run, did you catch that? Because I know it just paused.
Yeah, you said work on some homework and it paused.
Yeah, so you know, just working on different things with them. But one of the kids literally asked, could I be their dad? You know, and you know, I mean, I ain't lied to him, you know, and just make up something like, yeah, maybe, you know, like I told him, you know, I began to have a conversation with him, like, about his father, what his thoughts were, you know, just to see perspective and where he came from. Because, I mean, that was kind of bold to me. You know, of course, children aren't in a box of thinking, some children aren't in a box of, let me hold this back, you know, let me not say this, let me watch how I say this.
They know what
he made that statement.
They know what they need.
So,
they know what they need.
Absolutely. And I mean, he saw me as that person, you know, so, and what it made me recognize is like, I knew this because my aunt, you know what I'm saying, my brother, his mom, like, she would always tell me, you need to be an educator. You need to be in front of these kids. They need to see you. They need even just the image, you know, of you. And I heard it, you know, but once that was said to me, once this child said that directly to me, it clicked like, this is how powerful our presence is. Like I thought, you know, my presence was already powerful just being in front of them. But the fact that they could look at it father figure like, and we hear famous entertainers and athletes, you know, Allen Iverson, you know, George Thompson John Thompson, his coach from Georgetown, just recently passed, and that was like a father figure to him. And people say those things all the time, right? And, you know, sometimes we don't always just recognize it in the moment, even when we're doing that. But that was mind blowing to me, you know. So now I began to even understand even greater, you know, that presence, you know, and taking the time to just listen, you know, if when they talking, you know, and not even, you know, to cut them off and have something to say in response, giving them a comfortable space to say what it is that they feel, especially with some of these high school kids. Like, they say some pretty wild stuff
yes,
sometimes.
they do. I had to stop
you know,
teaching high school because it was a little much for me.
See, and I can only imagine because, you know, even having a conversation with some young men that, you know, Morgan had brought around one time, you know, just listening to them have their conversations about how they approach women or how they reacted to rejection. And I'm like, bro, you can't respond like that, you know, and they thought it was cool, you know what I mean? And some of it was funny and it was jokes, you know, and I'm like, nah, none of that is cool, you know, but they need someone that they look at with respect to let them know that. Like, I ain't preaching to you. I ain't telling you what you should and should not be doing. I'm just telling you that ain't cool, bruh. And like, you respect me. You like how I operate and how I move, and I'm a rapper, this, and that. But you need to know that that's not cool. And then to be able to get in depth and have that conversation with them. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I started with that, but that presence is powerful, and being able to be in that space to be a figure, you know what I'm saying, for whatever they may need, you know, at that time. But once they develop that relationship with you, they're going to let you know some things about them, you know, even if they don't know that they telling, I ain't going to say telling too much. Ain't no such thing, you know, unless you outside of your village, you know, in your community. You know, they were letting me know the things that they needed to. They were being very transparent. And I appreciate it, you know, because now it again even lets me know certain things that I need to target. Okay, we need to bring some women in, maybe not to necessarily even teach them, but for them to even see how a relationship works, how respect works,
Exactly.
you know, and things of that nature. So I learned so much, you know, just by working with them, which has been a blessing to me because now I know what other things I need to add to the arsenal, you know, and other things that they need to learn, you know, through example, most importantly.
Yep, yep. And like you said, it teaches us as well because it's I know sometimes it catches me from understanding like what was taught to me and how I really want to respond. You know, so like even hearing you say, you know, from, you know, them sharing too much and then catching yourself be like, oh, it's not too much, because we were
Right,
taught that, you know, what happens in the home stays in the home. But
right.
that you know, it keeps the unhealthy cycles going because nobody is able to talk about it that actually can bring balance to it. So that's
Right.
good to be able to create safe spaces for these youth that really need to see other, to speak to other people, as well as to see other models in the village and the community that could actually bring a balance to what's going on in the home or what's going on in the environment or their school or whatever. That's something that we really, you know, it would be healthy to grow past, you know, thinking that we have to keep holding stuff in, that we have to keep these secrets and all these so-called taboos, because that's what, you know, keeps those unhealthy cycles going. So yeah, I'm all for, you know, creating new conversations and, you know, healthy healthy safe spaces, you know, for all of us. So
Yeah, I think they need it, you know, but along like with the parents. I'm real big on like parents being a part of the engagement, you know, so that they can, you know who's dealing with their children, you know, at the same time, so that they can know like what type of energy might come back into their home, you know, and you know, not try to like reshape it, you know, be a part of the evolvement,
yeah,
be involved in the involvement.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. What else you want to share with us? What else is going on in your world?
Well, I mean, you know, I really want people to tap into this live alkaline water. You know,
We
like
donate.
because I mean it's not just water, you know, it's life, you know, it's living water, you know, and as people, you know, are drinking alkaline water and things of that nature, you know, I mean, you know, now that we've been fully tapped into this source, I'm looking at the water, you know, on the shelves differently, like in reading it, you know, and seeing how some of it isn't fully naturally alkaline, you know, how they might be trying to put it in a case with rocks to run it through it to give it some quick, you know, mineral fix, you know, and things of that nature. But just the fact that it's coming from a source that we can recognize, that is on a particular land, that is indigenous land, that is indigenous to our people, like it's so much life, you know, to that, you know, that I'm appreciative to even have experienced it, to now be a part of it, you know, and bro jumped out, you know what I'm saying, with it, you know, head first. You know, I mean, and that all of that came through manifestation. Like we talked about being connected to sources. We talked about, you know, being connected to people with land, to like it falling right in our laps, you know, like in a manner that we didn't expect at all. But I mean, that expect the unexpected is huge, you know, like long as you speaking it, you know what I mean? Like some people put heavy intention on what they manifestation. I mean, what they're manifesting. Some people don't recognize that the power in their tongue is already working to manifest things, regardless of if they thinking about it or not. So just us having that conversation, I mean, those conversations, but yeah, being tapped in with this and seeing how people are responding to it, you know, and then even further being connected, you know what I mean, to people that are gonna be able to allow us to distribute this in a greater mass is powerful, you know. And what's important to me, like, yeah, it's another stream of income, you know, for finances, but I'm just looking at the aspect of this is about to be in everybody's home. This is about to be in everybody's home. It's a real healing component. There's a rapper by the name of Mick Jenkins who has a he did a whole project about water, you know, and he has a song called THC called The Healing Component, you know, and we tapped into the healing component, you know, right now, you know, so knowing that, like, I love being able to put out music that people love. I love being able to create merchandise, you know, like you have on right now that people can see and it can start beautiful conversation and it can be affirmations, you know, the fabric is good and all of those things, but to be able to provide water, to be able to like provide something that people are going to be able to have and live on, and it can chemically change their entire body, you know, it can boost their immune system, it can help with health ailments, like that is mind blowing to me, but it's not, you know, because this is something we discussed and this is supposed to happen. All of these things are supposed to happen. You know, I've been seeing so many things that are supposed to happen, you know, during this time, features, you know, people that are on songs that I didn't even know, you know, would, you know, I'd be able to like connect with, you know, nah, not that I didn't know I'd be able to connect with, that I didn't even have to work to connect with, you know, because the work was already put in, you know. So man, it's been mind blowing, you know, to me, you know, in the greatest way, to see, you know, how all of this is operating. I see Akeem, you know, is in here in the building, and like, you know, I mean, he out there, you know, putting in major work, and it's just it's beautiful. So I mean, overall, I just want, you know, everybody to try this out. Everybody to get some of this in their home. You know, get some of this in their system and keep it in their system and let it build them. And then, you know, come back and let everybody else know the results. We let everybody know the results of everything else. I just hit the lottery.
Right.
I'm eating shrimp and grits right now. Let everybody know about the health and wellness.
Right.
You know what I mean? Got popping off right now. Let everybody know about what's going on in your body and that it came from drinking water. You know, and I've had conversations with people that's like, man, I don't even drink water. I'm like, you don't drink water?
Yep.
Like,
I've
what
heard
do you
before
do?
too. I've heard before.
That, I mean, it's mind blowing to me, you know, but I mean, I grew up an athlete, so I was always, you know, drinking water and, you know, putting fuel back into my body. But I don't know, this is just a whole nother thing to me, you know, and I'm constantly realizing our elevation, you know, my personal elevation, the elevation of everybody around me. I see it in the friends that I have, the friends that I gain, the friends that I lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see it in everything. And I'm learning to not even be disappointed with certain things anymore as well, because just as everything is supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen.
Yep.
So it is what it is. You know, I can't focus on all of the things that are out of my control, because again, that's ego. You know, want me to control things, want me to control other people's direction. I can't do it.
Yep. Yep. You speaking, brother. All the stuff that I talk to my peoples about. That's all it. Yes, the circle of control is big. I mean, because that's when we start to worry and trying to fix everything, and that's where all that stress comes in, and that's where the illnesses come in, all of that. So yeah, it's just lay back,
Yeah.
let the pieces fall. You speak that affirmation, allow the universe to conspire to put all those pieces together, and sit back. It can be easy. It can be easy. Yeah, when you talk about the water, I was out in the land this weekend, so I got a chance to be out there and to experience it, you know, firsthand. And, you know, of course I brought back my water. Brought back my water, got the water here.
How was it just seeing the space and seeing the community out there though?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, as soon as you roll up, like you see that RBG flag, it's like, oh. Like, oh.
Yeah. That's love. You know, like it has such a tribal vibe, just me pulling up to it.
Yep.
Like that.
Brother got out and helped me out with the waters. Like, it was just that, you know, just that flow. You know, didn't have to ask, you know, nothing. Didn't have to ask when they took us out and to the land and talked about it and gave the whole history and talked about the, you know, how the community is coming together. And it's love. It's love. It's like everything that I've been, you know, working towards and dreaming about and thinking about, and it's just like you said, just falling into place. So yeah, it's time. It's definitely time.
How you been feeling since, you know, you started drinking the water though? How, like, what's your testimony?
I mean, energy wise, I was just talking about how I've been more intentional about making sure that I have my vitamins and minerals. So I always, you know, drinking, falling all over the place. Like drinking filter water takes out everything. So people think when they drink filter water that it's, you know, it's healthy and, you know, whatever, or drinking an alkaline water off the shelves, but it does not have the same minerals, natural minerals and benefits that what happened went from natural, you know, natural sources. So I usually take my filter water and just put my Himalayan salt in there just to get the natural elements in there. And so tasting this water, it tastes similar to where, you know, when I put the Himalayan salt in there, but I can just feel it almost immediately. Whereas like I have to drink a couple of the, you know, the Himalayan salt waters in order to like actually feel hydrated and to feel it in my body. But I mean, just everything, clear my digestion is better, my energy, you know, I can just, it feels like life in my body. So I've been like, we have it in our store. And I've been buying it back from my stores. I was like, can't make money this way. It's not making sense. So I had to fill up my own bottles just to put in my home. But yeah, it's definitely life. It's definitely that. It's definitely that.
No doubt.
Yeah. So it's love. Well, we only got a couple more minutes. You want to tell people where they can find you, how they can follow you and support your work?
Yeah, so I'm T Walker NC on everything, you know, from Snapchat to Cash App and everything in between. You know, my website is heavyenergyuniversity.com. So you can go up there, check out my music, check out some of the merchandise, you know, that we have to offer. And we're about to add, you know, some other ways to, you know, get the live alkaline via the website, you know, as well. But those are the main places you can find me. My music is streaming on all streaming services. So if you have your Apple, your Spotify, or Tidal, because it's Black owned, or something called Disctopia, because it is Black owned, check it all out, you know, up there. I'm open to all constructive criticisms. And follow Soul Society NC. You know, that's the organization me and my brother co-founded together. And yeah, you'll see, you know, a couple of the other beautiful things that we have going on as far as the East White Oak Community Center. things with the water, as well. So yeah, it's a lot, so, just tap in and y'all will be able to see for sure. And I appreciate you, having me and taking out the time to, run it back.
Absolutely.
I definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. We fam. So I had to like let it go for a minute. And it was like, let me go see what was, make sure he's good.
No doubt. I appreciate you.
All right. You got any last any last words of wellness, of life you want to give to people?
Don't stress. Just speak what it is that you want every day. You know what I mean? Even through your worst moments, continue to speak it. That's all I know, is to continue to speak it and continue to move forward. Fear is the hindrance of the movement of God. So if you wanna be a blockade, if you wanna stand in your own way, don't stand in mine.
Yes. Peace and power to you. More power to you.
Peace and
Life,
power to you.
more living, more goodness. Appreciate you.
No doubt.
Y'all make sure y'all follow and support
you.
T. Walker and Soul Society and all that they do. Y'all follow. Go ahead and go to the YouTube, subscribe so you can keep it going. And love, peace, be love, and live truth.
Peace.